In this episode, we are with Heather Fordham, a Texas broker. She is passionate about traveling, reading, and solving big challenges, especially in real estate. Her mission is to make real estate investing more accessible, helping more people build wealth sooner. With 15 years as a licensed realtor and experience in property management, she knows real estate is about more than transactions. It's about creating homes, memories, generational wealth, and building strong relationships. Let's hear her story.
Okay, Heather, a couple of questions for you so we can get going. So tell me, what are your favorite hobbies?
My favorite hobbies.
Yeah.
Okay. Travel. I absolutely love traveling, reading, and solving big problems.
Okay. So let's dive into that. When you say solving big problems, give me a big problem that you solved that fulfilled the need.
Well, the thing about solving big problems is they're always a work in progress. So, one right now that I am working on is to make real estate investing just generally easier, lowering the bar for entry so that as people right now are having difficulty being able to buy homes themselves outright, it's just delaying them from starting the process of generating and starting to accumulate that wealth. We're going to lower the bar for entry so people can start earlier.
Okay. Well, explain that to me when you say lower the bar to entry.
Well, Jonathan, I'm going to have to explain that to you on a different podcast.
Okay, we can do
Because
that.
that one is a deep dive, and it's kind of a work in progress, but it is very, very close to to a point where I can actually roll it out.
Okay. Looking forward to hearing that story.
Okay.
All right. So travel then. Everyone likes to travel. So where are the last places you've gone?
Well, as part of that other question that you asked me, right now I've just been in the last 18 months 4 times to Portugal.
Oh, wow.
And then this in 2025, my husband and I have a cruise of the Mediterranean. So I'll get to go to Turkey and Croatia and Greece. And so I am just all over excited for that. We go to Mexico a lot.
So why Portugal?
Lot of reasons. So the Portuguese people and culture are very warm and welcoming, because Portuguese is kind of a difficult language to learn just because of their kind of inflections and the dialect that they have. It's pretty difficult. So they pretty much mostly speak English, which is quite easy for an American. And then just the food, it's all very fresh. The lifestyle is more, it's European and kind of Spanish. So it's a little bit more lax and laid back.
Okay, understood. That's kind of funny that you mentioned that. I'm doing a workout on my Naughty track, and we're running through Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I need to keep going with him.
Yeah.
Thing going. All right, so tell me then, why'd you become a realtor?
Well, real estate for me, I feel like it's like I'm a fish in water, right? It's like what I was put here to do. And it comes very naturally to me, but it started out when I was a kid, just looking at the newspaper, the Sunday paper, if you can believe, and flipping through and looking at the home section and thinking, I wonder, who lives here? Why this house? What does this house look like? And as I've grown, I started to realize exactly how important it is to people in their lives. And, I'm being allowed to help them select a place where they're going to make memories. Their kids are going to grow up, and hopefully it'll be the start to, creating that generational wealth for them. And I get to be a part of that, and that makes me happy.
Back to that conversation that we can't have right now.
Correct.
Okay, got it. So if you weren't a realtor, then what else would you have done?
I could have been a teacher. I could have been a therapist, an attorney. These are things that people have told me, and I could see myself being in that place.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So out of all of that, you decided to hone in on real estate.
I think real estate chose me.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. Really good way to look at it. So how long have you been a realtor?
So I've been a licensed realtor for 15 years. And but I had an introduction to real estate about 5 years before that. So into property management.
Yeah, I read. Yeah.
Yes, and Class A. Well, everything from Class C to Class A.
On the apartment side.
Multifamily.
Family, yes. Okay. And then you decided to take the real estate exam, and here you are now, just going.
Well, so the management company that I was working for, I started out my career with Marby Finger and the Finger Company. He has since passed, but he is a legend in the Houston multifamily space and is known for not mincing words and having high standards for the people that manage his properties. So the fact that I was able to start my career with him and learn things the right way and able to move up from leasing to assistant manager to manager. And then I started selling the communities. Like he started actually, liquidating some of his properties and selling them off. And I was on one of his properties and I was selected to give the tours to the people that were coming in to purchase the community. And they bought and said, we'd like you to stay on. And they just started moving me from community to lease it up, clean it up, and they put it on the market. And then I tour those people, then they sell it and they move to another one. So I thought, I think I'm leaving money on the table because I wasn't licensed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about how much apartment communities that are 200 to 300 units sell for, I didn't even get a bonus.
Ooh.
Yeah, nothing. So I was like, I feel like I could be doing this differently. And my son and my husband at the time were like, you obviously love this. You need to get licensed. And so I did.
Side question for you. How many times you take the test?
Only once.
Good deal. That's what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that, they had to take it several times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Test isn't that hard, but, it is what it is.
Well, you know what it is about the test, and I'll say this about any state licensing exam, any of them. I'm also licensed in insurance for the same amount of time I've been licensed in real estate, so 15 years. And the insurance test and the real estate test are quite similar because they're written by the same people. And they're written and designed to trip you up. They're written in a way that make you question. And if you go too fast, you will miss it. So yeah, I mean, if you know that about the test and you go in with that understanding, you'll be fine. I think it's a lot of people's test anxieties why they don't pass the first time.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. It's not because they don't know it. It's the way the questions are written.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what would you tell someone just starting out as a realtor? What advice would you give?
Know your why. Know your why you're doing this. And not to say that financial incentives are not okay, but you're going to need something more than that for what you're getting into. I was explaining to Rachel earlier, I don't know why I chose a career that is usually during the most stressful time in someone's life. I chose to make that my career to help people through the most stressful time in their life.
They are stressed.
They are stressed.
All the way.
And it's a process. And even the smoothest ones are going to have some level of anxiety to it.
Mm-hmm. So I want to circle back on a statement you made. You do a lot of traveling, or you like to travel, right?
I do.
Right? So how do you balance work life with home life?
I don't know that I'm the right person to answer that question. What I have found for me is I just merge my fun with my work.
Okay.
So I don't feel like I work anyway. I know I work and I know I put in a lot of hours and I am there for my clients to ensure that everything goes smoothly. But I wake up every single day happy that I get to do what I get to do.
That's a good way to look at it, because if you take that approach, then like you said, it doesn't feel like work.
Doesn't feel like work.
You're just up and at it and ready to go whenever the call comes in.
That's it.
Yeah. So how do you handle the stresses of the market being cyclical?
Mm.
Well,
So,
let me break it down.
okay,
Let's look at it from the financial
sure.
side of it first. So you know that you could have a closing today,
Mhm.
and that you may not see another one until another quarter.
Sure.
And that's just the reality of the business for a lot of realtors. What mechanisms do you have in place to keep the stress level down when that happens?
Well, I will definitely say that that's a real thing in this business. You will go through lean times, as we call them. And so much of this business is outside of your control,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So much of this is outside of your control. Whatever the Fed is doing, whatever geopolitical things are going on, there's so much that is outside of our control. The best thing you can do is to have a lot of tools in your tool belt. We cannot afford to be singularly focused on only one aspect of this business
Mhm.
and be successful.
Right.
I'm not saying you have to do everything because you need to do it well. People are depending on you to know what you're doing. So you do have to pick something and be great at it, but you have to not be willing. Well, you have to be willing to pick your head up and check out what's going on around you. And when you've been in the business, I think as long as I have, you start to notice trends. The election cycle, I already know. I've been through 5 election cycles.
You telling your age?
I am.
That's okay.
That's okay. I've been doing this a long time. I'm not hiding that. But when you've done that, you start to notice things. But if you are with your blinders on, you may miss some of those key indicators so that you can pivot your business and adjust it, and start guiding your clients that have been thinking about something, or maybe they haven't been thinking about something, but they should start thinking about something based upon what you see is coming.
Right. Right. That's a good foresight to have. So you mentioned niche, right?
Mhm.
So what niche do you kind of consider yourself in?
Mm. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not particularly sure that I have found my niche yet.
Okay.
I'm not particularly sure because I am still evolving and gathering information and learning new aspects of this business. So I'm not really sure that I've found my niche, but I do think that it will be home ownership accessibility.
Back to the topic we can't have right now.
Correct. Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, that's funny. I like that. Yeah. So then if that's where you are right now, then I'm going to ask you this question.
Mhm.
You have a broker's license.
I do.
Okay. So why did you obtain your broker's license?
Partially because of realizing that for me to go the places where I want to go, I may need to be able to move without having to be tied to a broker. Okay.
My interpretation of that is that at some point you probably want to start your own brokerage.
No.
Okay. Explain that.
Okay. So the thing about a broker's license, I waited a very long time before deciding to get my broker's license for a few reasons. One, there's a cost, an extra cost that comes along with it. There's more so responsibility because typically you get a broker's license because you're going to start a team or you want to have your own brokerage, and things like that. But there's a liability as well, even if you don't have a team. And I love people. I don't like to manage people. Okay. So if you want to come and you're a self-starter and you're going to work at the same level that I'm going to work, I will mentor you all day long. But I'm not here to motivate you to get up to go and do something for your clients because you should want to do that. That should be part of your why.
Right.
I shouldn't have to bring that to you.
Right.
So none of that stuff appealed to me. So that's why I never just thought about getting my broker's license. It wasn't part of my plan. But then now with exploring some of the other aspects of real estate and investing and how these investments can be structured, I needed to be able to stand on my own and be able to create companies and entities that allow that could function, and I could be the broker for those. And I wouldn't have to go out to another brokerage and ask them if they're okay with me doing this business, because I refuse to be limited.
Understood. So do you work in a team environment, or you just do your own?
No, I do have a team for label purposes. I would consider us more of a collective.
Okay.
Right? We're a collective of individual agents that work together underneath the New Heights Group team with, but we come to each other, questions, having a direct line to someone if you need questions answered. And that's pretty much it.
So is there a profit sharing element with the team that you're on now, or is it a collective?
I kind of made it, I started out one way when I initially did this because I wanted it to be more of a profit sharing. I wanted it to be something where we are building this together. I have the idea of where we can take this. I knew that I would need more people because I also want to try to maintain some aspect of a quality of life.
Yeah.
And that was partially why I decided a team would be great, right? A team would be great to have. You know them, they know you. You can depend on them to help you with transactions if you're overloaded or in the country or whatever the case. But one of the main reasons why I did start the team was in 2014, 2015. My mother passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. And I did not have a team then. And I had to walk away from my business. And I realized through that experience, when you're an agent, it is just you.
Yep.
You are your business. And if you are not there to work in your business, it will evaporate on you. And I literally had to start my career over from scratch because I had to go take care of my father, who was in a coma at the time. And there just was no other alternative. I had to walk away from my business. But had I had a team in place, had I had that group of individuals that I could depend on, I could have at least referred them business and worked on a referral fee basis. My clients were still tended to. And so it would have been easier to step back into that when things settled down. I learned that. I learned that in this business, the only safety nets are the ones you provide for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what the business is.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, you're just, solo brand, right?
Exactly.
And you find that you can't take a vacation.
Nope.
Because your clients are still coming through. Oh, you shouldn't if you're still, you want to eat.
Oh, it's guaranteed. Look, if you have a file that's been stale or stagnant or a client that's been on the fence, book a vacation.
That's when they
show up.
Yeah.
That's when everything starts going.
It has happened to me several times.
Sod's Law.
Yeah. I'm sitting there eating a nice big bowl of gumbo and got a message on the phone. Like, oh, okay, now I got to head back.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of days earlier than what I anticipated. But that is the nature of the business when you are, a solo agent broker. But I understand that when you are on a team, you can kind of share that workload and it doesn't really stop anything.
Right.
So you still exercising that philosophy now, or you're on to something else?
No, I am still exercising that philosophy. So when I say we're more of a collective now than a true team, I am the team lead because I'm the most senior, the most experienced, and they come to me and we just kind of share experiences and make sure that everybody's doing the best that they can do for their clients. But I don't take over responsibility for their sales.
Got it. Okay. So that's a different element.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and now we're talking about sales then, since you brought that up. I looked through your transactions from, I think, 2021 up through 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been pretty steady the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time you see a realtor that wants to keep increasing
Mm-hmm.
their transactions. What's your philosophy on holding steady?
One, I am by nature someone who believes that there's enough business for all of us. Okay.
Okay.
I don't need to be worried or concerned that there's not going to be enough business for me because this person is here or there or everywhere. I have my client base. I work with them a lot. I stay in communication with them a lot. Because of that, I think it has provided some level of reliability to my business. I also, again, back to work-life balance, I believe with what I put into every single client that I have, it would be difficult for me to take on too many transactions without that suffering, and I will not let that suffer.
Understood. So you're more client focused, more, as you put it, quality over quantity.
I would say yes. It's that, along with just not overloading myself to where I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to bed at midnight.
Yep. I know some realtors that are doing that right now.
Yes. And you go through fits and spurts of that. I just could not do that as a part of being able to maintain that growth aspect. I can go up in price point instead of transactions.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Done that. And
Mm-hmm.
quality of clients would be different. Yep. And that's just what it is. So that's a good way to look at it. I kind of like that philosophy because you become more personable with them.
Mm-hmm.
And not that it will bring more repeat clients, it's that you have the time to do the full job.
Oh, no. That is an expectation that they will be repeat clients.
Okay. Yeah, it is an expectation.
Yes, it
It's
is.
an expectation. It doesn't always become that, but it is an expectation. We go in with that expectation and hoping that if we do the job we're supposed to do and exceed their expectations, then yeah, they would refer clients to you because you did a great job, because you were so personable with them. And again, it's quality over quantity. Then yeah, you should end up with that if you stick to that.
Yeah. And it has been serving me quite well because what I have found, especially in this kind of, I call it my second season of my career, I'm taking all those lessons from the first season into the second season. If I do my job the way that I know I do my job, not only will my clients be repeat clients, I want to be that generational agent where you refer me to your children. You refer me to your aunt, your childhood friend that you talk to every Sunday. That's who you're going to refer me to.
Tell me a story about a favorite client you had.
Okay.
And there's always a bunch of them, but there's always that one that always stands out to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Elaborate on that.
Okay. So her name is Charlotte.
Okay.
And I met Charlotte, it was before COVID. I think it was right before COVID. And she's probably the hardest working woman I've ever met. She's like in her 70s. And she was looking for a place where her and her adult son could be. And he's special needs. So, it needed certain specifications for the property. But I actually was showing her one of my listings. And she came with her agent. And I showed them around and everything. And by the end of that showing, she was like, I need you to be my agent. And I said, Charlotte, this is professionally speaking, you need to sort that out with your agent before I will even engage in any kind of meaningful conversation with you. You need to talk to her and get that sorted out. And she did. And she came back to me. And the reason why she's probably my favorite client, some would say she's difficult to work with, okay? But she was probably 72 at the time. She told me that she had not owned anything herself since the 80s when she got divorced. And she was living in this apartment, and it was atrocious. I mean, it probably had mold. It was not well kept. Coming from a property management background, I was just like, ma'am, you need to get out of here. I said, you need to buy something, a small condo, anything. You need to buy it. I said, because you're 70 something now, you're not going to be able to work forever. And the rents are going to keep going up. You're going to be on a fixed income at some point. What are you going to do? And we had a heart-to-heart, and we set a plan up for how she was going to put herself into a position to purchase. And COVID came along. And when I tell you this is the most hardest working woman ever, she had 3 jobs.
Oh, wow.
She was doing Uber Eats. She had her regular receptionist job, and she had a job at Brighton, which is a retail store.
Mm-hmm.
And through her Uber Eats money, she was able to save up enough money for her down payment.
Oh, good for her.
And this was during COVID. So as bad as COVID was for a lot of people, it provided her an opportunity to actually pay down debt and to increase her savings so that she could purchase. And we found the perfect condo for her. And she's in it now to this day. And she calls me probably once a quarter to just tell me how much she thanks God every single day that I helped her get to that place. Even though, yes, some of the expenses of associations go up, she still recognizes that she could never live in that kind of place for $800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my favorite part because that's why I do what I do.
Good, heartwarming story.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Another question for you then, piggybacking off something you said. How do you set client expectations?
I'm not sure that I do, but I do it based upon mostly what they tell me, right? One of the things that I do is I call it 3-dimensional listening. There's what people say to you. There's what people don't say to you. And then there's everything else surrounding what you know they're saying, but they haven't quite gotten there yet. So I kind of take all of that and lay out the expectations around that, making sure that it's meeting everything that they need. And also, putting myself and my skill set in there to make sure we have a successful interaction.
So do you see yourself retiring as a realtor?
Mm-mm.
So what's the next chapter for you then?
I used to joke that I'll be one of those 80-year-old women in an open house that has the baked cookies.
The bake. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I used to joke about that. I have absolutely no idea where this journey is going to take me, but I am quite excited to see where it's going to go. I think I'm just going to continue to learn, take what I learn, bring it to the masses so that we all can benefit from, what I've surmised from this industry.
Wait.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yes. Yes. I mean, I am open, but narrowly open. Whatever it is that I'm doing,